Hi there, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, and this video is all of the 5-a-day movement flows, those 5-minute exercise flows that we've got, but stitched together one after the other along with the explanations beforehand. So it's a very long video, but just go to the section that you want if you don't want to do all one after the other. If you do want to do all of them one after the other but without any explanation, then there is another video for that you can use instead. So please do check that one out. Welcome to the mobility series, which is going to be 5 exercises done over 5 minutes to boost your mobility either first thing in the morning or just any time during the day. Okay, so this is the section that's going to explain the movements. If you've already done the movements before, then you can just skip ahead and go straight into the exercise. So 5 exercises. The first one is going to be windmill arms. So we're going to have both hands up on the head, up into the sky, and take one forward and one backwards in a circle like this. Okay, so you've got to do maybe 10 or 15 in one direction and then swap and do 10 or 15 in the other, and that should be around the 30-second mark. Doesn't matter if you get it exactly, just mix it up a little bit, or you can focus with just one direction for the first exercise set, and then the second set, which is the next round, you can do the other one. So that would be the first exercise, so you'll see it from the side here. Okay, so they're going in opposite directions, and it's easier to start at the top than it is at the bottom, because then it gets confusing what you're doing, okay? So that's the first one. Second one is just hip mobility, so just doing circles with the hips, bending the chest down. So this is one option. So you see, you take it like this, in different directions. Again, 10-15 in one way, 10-15 the other, that'll be your 30 seconds. Or you can do what I call the belly dancer, which is keeping the chest where it is and maybe doing this funny movement here, trying to keep the chest where it is. Okay, so that's the second exercise. The third exercise is going to be side to side straddle. Okay, so side, side. Okay, so with your foot that's coming out, have that either pointing forward or to the side a little bit, so whatever's more comfortable for you. You can start small and you can get bigger and bigger. Okay. Fourth exercise is going to have your knees together and just taking rotations with the knees. So this is what the exercise will be. And then the fifth exercise will be cat-cow. So from forwards, or we'll do it from the side here. So knees underneath the hips, shoulders underneath the wrists, nice neutral spine to begin with. Inhale, you look forward, dip the belly down and tilt the tailbone back. Exhale, you bring the chin to the chest, round the spine, push the shoulder blades apart and bring the pelvis forward. Okay, so it's inhale forwards, exhale back. So we're just going to be doing inhale and exhale. If you want, you can also mix it up a little bit by snaking the body a little bit and doing it that way. Okay, so as you get a bit more advanced with this, just do whatever flows well for you. Okay, so they're the 5 exercises. Let's get started. Okay, mobility warm-up. So again, just doing 10, 15 in one direction. Maybe you do the counter, you see 15 seconds goes by on the counter, and then do the other side, 15 seconds. And then you've got a nice even amount. Next one is the hips. So again, maybe take it in one direction for maybe 15 seconds or so, and you can move in the other direction. Feet about hip width apart maybe, whatever is comfortable for you. Straight into the side lunges, going side to side. Resting the hands on the thighs if you want, or out in front will be a little bit more challenging. You can come down low, you can stay high, up to you. And then we do the knees, bringing the knees round and round. Again, you can stay in one direction for this whole round, or you can do roughly 15 seconds in one direction and 15 seconds in the other direction. And then we go into the cat-cow, remember. Fifth exercise, cat-cow. Inhale forwards, exhale back. Toes can be tucked or they can be flat. It's kind of up to you. You don't have to be moving as fast as me. You just move in the pace that you want. Back to our shoulder rolls, or our windmill arms. Again, if you did all in one way on the other side, on the other section do it that way. Otherwise, like me, I'm swapping after about 15 seconds. Does not have to be exact, just do what the body feels like it needs to do. That is totally and utterly fine. And then we do our hips. This time I'm going to do the belly dancer one, so trying to keep the chest upright really, trying to swivel the hips a little bit, just in one direction for 15 seconds and then the other direction for 15 seconds. So it's a bit of a weird one, I admit, but it's good. And then we go on to our side lunges. Again, coming out as far as you want, holding onto the thighs, holding onto the waist, not holding onto anything, maybe opening up the chest if you want. You can do whatever you want with the upper body, totally fine. Good, knees, again, if you did it in one direction on the first one, just do it in the opposite direction this time, otherwise roughly 15 or so seconds in each direction, doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to go on to the last one now. Okay, so back to cat-cow, inhaling forwards, exhaling rounding, inhaling dipping, exhaling pushing the floor away, okay? Maybe snaking the body from side to side a little bit, maybe even introducing a bit more of a movement, forward and backwards, do whatever feels good. And the last few seconds and we're done. Well done. That was your mobility sequence of your 5-a-day movement flows. Hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to the foundational series in the 5-a-day movement flows. This one is designed to be a bit of an all-rounder and access as much of the body as possible in terms of strengthening. So the first exercise that we'll be doing will be air squats. So air squats is just a squat without any weight. If you want to use weight, that's up to you. Feet are going to be wherever is going to be comfortable. I usually find toes pointing out slightly, hips further than hip width apart. As you come down, doesn't really matter how far you come as far as you can. Knee should be tracking over the second big toe here, ideally, so they're not coming in too much. Maybe you come down here. Okay, I know my dad, when he does his squats, he comes down to about here. Maybe you come all the way down. This isn't as far as you could go, but knee injuries that I've got don't allow me to do that right now. You can try things differently. You can come down like this if you want, where your feet are more pointing forwards. If you've got the benefit of having something like this, you can put this on your back, and that can be quite nice to come down like that. So totally up to you how you do the air squat. So that's the first one. Next one is push-up. So push-up, classic push-up might be something like this. Now what I find is that a lot of people, they tend to come quite wide on their arms and point the elbows out, and whilst that's not incorrect and there isn't a necessarily correct or incorrect way, for shoulder stability I find it's a little bit better to have the arms where you can either have them a bit like a yogi push-up where they're right up against the ribs, or halfway between, so it's a 45-degree angle. Now you see I just demonstrated that on my knees, and that's another thing that you can do, is come onto your knees and do the push-ups this way, or one knee. The other option, if that's still unavailable to you, is find a bench or a chair or a table, something that is strong and sturdy. You can even use this, or this will be quite hard. And you can still be on your knees and do it this way, or you can be on your feet. The higher up you go onto a shelf, then the easier it will be. So you can even do it against the wall. You know, that's a good option for you as well. So this is the regression for you, and I'll demonstrate those regressions. So we had the air squats, then we had the push-ups, and now we go to lunges. So the classic lunge might be walking forwards, again coming to about your knee over your ankle, can be a little bit beyond but not really much beyond, and then coming down, okay? That's one option. The other option is to do it going backwards, which I actually quite like, the backwards one, because you get a little bit more control over what's happening with this front leg, because then you can guide everything from that. So actually, and we'll take it alternately, you can do that. Of course, if you want to add something to it with the arms, you can bring the arms out like this, or like this. And again, same with going forwards. You can do that. You can have weights or even no weights and just pull the biceps. So totally up to you. In terms of regression, you know, not a huge amount with this except for just not coming down. So step in and back, step in and back. So you just don't bring the knee all the way down. Okay, so that's your regression for that one. Next one might be a new one for you. It's from the Gong method. And it's good for the opening up the shoulders, open up the chest, strengthening the back of the neck here. Now the important thing is to have your feet hip width apart. So this is not hip width apart, this is hip width apart, where the ankles, the knees and the hip bone are all in a line. The outside edges of your feet might be parallel, and then it looks a little bit pigeon-toed on the inside. Then with your hands you're going to have not a tight punch grip, but a very loose punch grip, with the thumbs pointing out, so not really a punch grip at all, but with like a thumbs up. Then you're going to bring your wrists to shoulder height, like this, a little bit back, keep the pelvis tucked under and the back straight, feet like this, and then you're going to take small windmill arms like this, as if you're circling a small coin at the end of your arm, and you can feel it in between the shoulder blades. And once you've done about, say, 20 and 30 one way, do the other way. And then on the next round, have your thumbs pointing the other way and do the same. So it will be about 15 seconds backwards, 15 seconds forwards. Second round, 15 seconds backwards with the thumb pointing that way, 15 seconds the other way, okay? And then the fifth exercise are back extensions. So you can be lying flat on the ground like this and come up like that. Maybe from the side a bit easier. So your hands can be behind you, you bring your feet up and your chest up, or your arms can be forwards or to the side, up to you. That's one option. Possibly a little bit easier for the regression. Might be simply to have yourself in tabletop position to begin with, and then you can keep both hands on the floor and just do one leg at a time. Or if you want a little bit more, again, still a bit easier maybe, although not always, is the balance and having opposite arm, opposite leg. That's a nice one. Other options are to keep the leg bent and come up like this. Again, you can maybe just have this hand supporting you in some way rather than actually doing the work. So there are your 5 exercises, including the regressions. So follow along, adapt them as you wish. Let's get started. So the air squats again, coming down as far as is comfortable. You don't need to come down all the way. Squeeze the bottom on the way up, almost thrusting the hips forward a little bit. And again, having your feet narrow makes it a little bit harder, especially if you don't have the ankle flexibility. Good. Coming up, push-ups. So off the knees is the harder version, coming all the way down, push up and maybe round the spine. Down, round the spine. So you don't have to go fast, you can go slow, you can do whatever you want. You've got 30 seconds, your choice. Lunges, go forwards, come down with the knee. Doesn't have to bang on the floor, just a light touch. Maybe the hairs on your knees, touching it if you've got hairs on your knees. Okay, arms can be by the hips, they can be up. You can cactus them, try and get that toe and knee alignment. Good, and then a goski. So, backwards to begin with. Keeping the feet parallel, shoulder blades squeezing together. And then after 15 seconds you change direction, keeping the thumbs pointing the same direction though. And then we're going to go to back extensions. And down to back extensions. Hands can be behind the head. Keep the gaze down. Try and keep the back of the neck long rather than looking forwards. Hands can be cactus hands. Maybe you just want to just do, not the legs and just do the chest. That's fine as well. Making it harder, having the arms out in front as well. Good. And back to air squats. Okay, so maybe you go a bit narrower this time, but not as deep. Again, same thing, squeeze the butt as you come up, chest forwards. You can have the hands on the shoulders, elbows forward or down, hands on the head, hands out in front, up to you. Keep it nice and even, keep that knee tracking, down to the push-ups. Maybe this time you do it differently, maybe you go fast. If you went slow before, maybe you go slow. If you went fast before, you can always come onto your knees. Oh, this is tough. And then maybe the lunges, this time you go back instead of forwards. Have a little twist in there. As you do more and more of these, you'll work out what works for you and what doesn't. Onto the Goskus. This time, fingers pointing behind, or whatever opposite way from what you did before was, I actually can't remember which I did, doesn't really matter. As long as you do something, it is all good. And then onto the back extensions. Oh, really starting to sweat. Oh, the thing with these exercises is there's no rest. It's just 5 minutes, continuously changing and adapting the body's perception of what's coming. Short and sweet. Oh, that's good. Oh, well done. Welcome to the cardio section of the 5-a-day movement flows. This one will be 2 levels, if you like, because they may be a bit challenging, some of the exercises. So just to illustrate what the first exercises are, first one is jumping jacks, so that's jumping like this. The regression could be just stepping from side to side if it's too much for your knees, okay? Stepping from side to side. Okay, that's the first one. The second one will be mountain climbers. So this will be where you're in your plank position and you're running on the spot, either from side to side or forwards like this. The regression could literally be on your knees and coming forwards like this. Or another regression might be if you want to go against a wall or a bench or something, and then you can run that way. So that's the second one, which will be mountain climbers. And the third one that we're going to be doing is butt kicks. So this is where we're running, trying to kick our heel towards our bottom. Doesn't matter if you get there or not. I have a little injury in my knee, so I'm not going to go too fast. The regression is not running, okay, just doing it this way, okay. The fourth one is going to be burpees, okay. So burpees are quite challenging, and we can do it in a number of different ways. One way to do it is to do a push-up burpee. So we're standing at the front of the mat here, we come down, we jump back all the way to our push-up, we jump forward, and we jump up, okay? You can do it with jumping squats, so it can be wider, and you can jump back and do it that way. Or you can do it jumping back and not pushing up. That's also another option. And then the other option is also to maybe just come down, step back, step forward, okay? So that's probably the version I'm going to show in the beginner version. So that's the fourth one. And then the fifth one is high knees. So the full version will be running on the spot like this. The other version will be just coming up, or you can even put in a twist like this as well. Okay, so the video should be side by side, and they should be showing which one we're doing in which situation. So hopefully all that works out for you, and again the timer is going to be there for you. Okay, remember you can always do a simplified version on the other side of the screen. I'm showing the more accessible versions of some of these exercises, okay? This is quite an intense one, this 5-minute cardio. I'll be sweating by the end of it, I'm sure. Mountain climbers. Again, you can go to opposite elbows if you want, or just same elbow, mixing it up a little bit. It's a good one for the core as well as the cardio. Butt kicks coming up. Okay, so running on the spot. You know, be mindful of your knees. If you've got like a little trampoline or rebounder, these ones are really great do on that. I've got one, but I didn't want to demonstrate it on that today. But this is what we want to do. Onto the burpees. These are tough. You can always miss out the push-up, or do the push-up on your knee, or do it gradually. However you want to do this is up to you. And then high knees, or at least as high as you can get them. Whew. This is just the first round. How are you feeling? Keep going. Even if the knees drop, try and get them up. 10 seconds and we go to jumping jacks. Okay, stay with me guys. Stay with me. And back to the jacks. If you're needing to take the regression, the easier option, even though you started with the harder one, it's fine. Just keep moving. Doesn't matter. Mountain climbers coming up next in 5 seconds. Starting to feel it. Definitely starting to feel the sweat. It's amazing what 5 minutes can do to you. That's it. Starting to feel it. Butt kicks. Do what you can with butt kicks. Take the easier option if you need to. Especially if you're feeling it in the knees, try and do this on carpet or something soft on the grass. Be great. Onto the burpees. Next round of burpees in 5 seconds. Very hard to talk whilst doing this one, that's for sure. I try to mix it up with some where the feet come out to the side and some where they're in the middle. So up to you. And then onto our high knees. Okay, it doesn't have to be super high like this. I mean, if you could do it as high as possible and keep going, that would be good. But just do what you can. Pump those arms. We've got the last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, well done. Welcome to the strength series of the 5-a-day movement flows. So this is going to be tough. Even the regressed versions are going to be tough. So let me just demonstrate what those are. So the first one is a push-up. Okay, we've done push-ups in some of the other series, but this different series is going to be super slow. So 5 to 10 seconds down, and then either push up quickly or coming up super slow. So the regression is really, as before, either on your knees or on something to the side or a wall, okay? But the premise is still the same in that it's super slow. So I'll just demonstrate it on the knees to begin with. Again, elbows can come out diagonally, they can come behind. It's a little bit harder if they come out there. You can vary the hand position, put your hands together. it's really up to you. There are so many different variations of the push-up, okay? But the key thing here will be coming down as slow as possible. So you're going to come down maybe like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or when you come down slowly, okay, then you explode up, okay? That's going to be actually slightly easier. Okay, so that's the first one, is the push-up, okay? Next one is going to be a wall sit. So sitting against the wall, the easier version is going to be coming up higher. The more intense version will be having your thighs parallel to the floor, okay? So push-ups, then wall sit. And then we're going to go on to single leg squat. So the way we're going to do this, and again, the regression here will be being supported. So you can have, for example, grab onto a wall or a strap or anything that's hanging, and also, of course, not coming down as far. So it might be, instead of a pistol squat, which is coming down with the leg in front, which you have to have really good mobility on the ankle to do, or raise the ankle, the heel a little bit by putting something underneath it. Another version is just to come down like this, okay? So we're going to come down like this. Again, the regression version is just not coming down as far, being supported so you can pull yourself up somewhat, okay? So that's the third one, is a single leg squat. Then we go on to, your legs are going to be killing you at the end, but it's going to be jumping squats. So jumping like this for 30 seconds, okay? That's going to be tough. The regression, again, is more the side to side squat, okay? That's your regression. And then finally, we've got V sit-ups. So if I demonstrate it side on, your legs are going to be straight. Move these out of the way. Maybe arms straight. And we come up like a folded book. Oh, legs not quite straight there, but something like that. Regression is going to be allowing the legs to bend and coming in like this. Or variation could be one leg, maybe with a twist, okay? So these are going to be your exercises and your regressions or your easier versions that you can do. Okay, super slow push-ups. Coming down as slow as you can, maybe even coming up slow or coming up fast. Up to you. But you may only get one push-up done in this entire 30 seconds. And that is totally fine. And then we go to wall sits, coming down, thighs parallel with the ground, knees hip width or just wider apart, knees over the ankles, tracking over the second toe. Should start to feel it after about now. And we go to the single leg squats. Going with the single leg squats, if you can do pistol squats, you can do pistol squats. Otherwise, maybe you do all on one leg and then all on the other leg for the other round. Okay, so you really feel it. You can come down low and up. Come down wherever is comfortable. Just keep that knee safe and tracking over the second big toe. Good. Then we do our jumping squats. These are a killer. That is for sure. And then we do the V-sits. 30 seconds of this after single leg squats. My left leg is definitely feeling it. V-sit. Oh. Doing our best here. No, it might never be perfectly straight, but we do what we can. And then push-ups coming up. Keep going. Again, maybe you just get one push-up, and that's fine. Yeah. Coming down as slow as is possible for you. And coming up either fast or again slow. Onto the wall sits. Again, try and just come down to right angles with the legs, not any further. A single push up in the jumping squats, that really takes it out of you. Then you start to feel it here, and then we've got the single leg on the right. See how that goes. So again, this is a balance as well as a squat. If you can come down lower than me, come down lower. If you can do a pistol squat with the leg out in front and come all the way down to the ground, more power to you. Awesome job. Ready for the jumping squats. Open up the chest as you come up, swinging the arms. Final one, the V-sit, push-ups. I find interlacing the thumbs can work. It's still really tough. Keep going. And we're done. Well done. Welcome to the balance series in the 5-a-day movement flow. So this one is all about balance. Again, there's going to be regressions or easier versions of the ones we're going to do, which we're going to demonstrate all of them today. So the first one that we're going to be doing is tree pose. So tree pose is typically on one leg, and the one leg is bent and sitting somewhere along the leg. The only thing I would say is not to put it on the knee. So if, like me, you've got a bit of trouble bringing it above your knee, then just keep it below the knee. The regression for this one will be just to have the part of the foot on the floor and just balancing mainly on one leg, and maybe you can kind of tap a little bit as you come off the floor. Of course, the option is to do it close to a wall. All of the options will be a good idea close to the wall, so you can do this. In terms of the hands, I'm not going to be too prescriptive. If you're a bit of a balance guru, you'll know that higher up will be harder, eyes closed will be harder than down, balance like this. So it doesn't really matter on the arms, you'll see me doing different things. So that's the first one, is that. Next one is dancer's pose. So we bend the knee and we grab hold of the foot. I tend to like to grab it from the instep, and maybe you hold it like this. Other option, a bit more challenging, is to come down and kick into the hand so that you open up the space between your thigh and your ankle, okay? So if I just show you that. Other option, you can hold If it's a little bit too challenging to do this, then maybe just have your knee up and you balance on one leg, okay? This is going to be your safety. Maybe you have your leg like this. That's also cool, okay? Doesn't really matter. So that's that one. Then we go into the next one, which is standing on one leg, again with the knee bent, but this time introducing the twist. So you hold on and then you twist. This right hand can be on your lower back or it can be extended away from you. Again, if you've got a wall, you can have that as a safety option. You can even place your thigh or your foot up against a wall, a bit like this, so that you can be a bit more balanced, a little bit more protected. Okay? Next one after that is Warrior 3, which is a T shape. So coming down, your arms might be in front. This will be maybe the harder version to come into some sort of T shape. A little bit easier to bring the hands in or to the aeroplane side. If you are just starting out and it's a little bit tricky for you, you don't have to come down that far. You maybe just do this. This might be your balance, okay? So that's your balance. That is not necessary. This is perfectly fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay? All of that's good. So that's the option. And then the last option is half moon. So this is quite challenging. I'm going to take a block. You might want a block or brick or a table nearby. Place the brick about a foot or so in front of your leading foot. The back foot is going to come up. You're going to hold onto the block. You're going to open up the hips and maybe you stay here. Okay, you engage that standing leg. You engage the floating leg. Maybe the arm goes up. This is maybe your half moon. Okay, regression again is coming up less instead of all the way up. Come up a little bit. Maybe you're balancing like this. This might be more than enough. Okay, it's quite challenging. So there are your 5 exercises with your 5 regressions. Let's get started. Coming into tree on one side. We'll try and hold it for the 30 seconds on the one side. So again, just don't put the foot on the knee. It can be below the knee or above the knee. Place the hands wherever you want. They can be in prayer position. They could be on your waist. They can be out here, up here. Doesn't really matter where you have them. Obviously, the higher up they are, tends to be harder. The higher up you look, tends to be harder as well. So closing the eyes can help. Okay, dancer's pose, so bending the knee, grabbing hold of either the outside or the inside, keeping the knees together to begin with, raising the hand, and then kicking into that foot, kicking into the hand, sorry, that brings the chest down. Again, maybe there's something that you can hold on to temporarily. Standing leg is engaged. It's right and natural to wobble. That's fine. Coming up, taking our twist. So I'm doing all this on the same leg, so I'm using my right leg as the prop, and the left leg is the one that's taking all the balance at the moment. Okay, taking our twist here. So I'm really going to feel it in the left leg at the end of this 2.5 minutes. I'm coming into Warrior 3. So again, coming into any position that works. Squeezing the butt, opening up a little bit more. Arms can be to the side, in front, wherever works for you. Then half moon. Again, this is all on the left leg, raising that right leg as much as possible, or at least for me, whatever side it is for you. Maybe you're looking up towards the hand, maybe the hand is on the hip, maybe you're looking down. It's a little bit easier if you look down than look up. And then back onto the right leg, taking, at least I think we are, yep. right leg having the balance there. I actually find my right is harder to balance on than my left typically, so I'm not sure if that's the situation for you. Normally left and right are slightly different, so that's just normal. So just like normal trees, it's fine to sway, you just want to stay rooted. Back into holding onto the leg, taking the instep, raising the right hand, kicking the hand away, slowly coming down. Try and find something to focus on and look at, ideally something that's not moving. Oh, if you wobble, that's fine. So I try and look at the time. Getting ready to come into our bent knee position. Again, looking behind us. We can either place the hand behind us or we can place it on our hip, lower back. Really feel this in the glutes as well. So not only is it balancing, it's really strengthening along that leg. Getting ready to come into our warrior three. Finding our way down towards the floor in that T shape. Ooh, swaying a little bit is natural, normal. Getting ready to come into our half moon, grabbing our block. Hopefully your leg is still alive. Last pose. Squeezing, tensing the thigh muscle of the standing leg, rooting down through that big toe, extending that floating leg away from you. Opening up the hips as much as works for your body. We're all different. I'm not a super flexible guy. I do what I can. And then we are done. Give yourselves a little bit of a pat and a clap on the thighs. Wake them up again. And a big round of applause. Welcome to the core series of the 5-a-day movement flows. This one is all about strengthening the core, which is not just the belly, of course, it's the side and the back, it's everything in the middle. So 5 exercises, 30 seconds each as before, explanation of the exercises plus their regressions or their easier components. So first one is plank, so I'll show it side on here. The full expression of the pose might be this, okay? Try not to have the hips down or too high up, somewhat like this. A somewhat easier version might be to come onto the forearms to do it instead, and maybe a regression might be even just coming onto the knees and holding it, or maybe like this. That might be enough for you, okay? So whatever works for you, works for you. Next one is going to be side plank. So again, full expression might be something like this. It could be that your foot is up even, it could be that your foot is in front, it could be, if you want an easier version, that you bring your knee down, maybe you swivel your foot out and you have it like this. It could even be that you come onto your side on the forearms but have the knees off the ground, or maybe the knees slightly on the ground. So totally up to you. Other option as well is to have the foot halfway like this, okay? So a few different options there for you on that side plank. All right, so we had plank, we had side plank, and the third exercise that we're going to do are up downs. What are up downs? They're from high plank to low plank. So high plank, low plank, high plank. Alternating, you know, left, right, right, left, whatever. Just try and mix it up. Again, you can do the same thing on your knees to make it easier. So that will be the regression for that one. Next one will be back extension. So trying to open up the core, starting from a tabletop position. So options here will be maybe just to have one leg lifted slightly off the ground and pulsing with the leg. or having the arm lifted and pulsing with the arm and the leg be a bit harder. If you want, you can mix it up and bring the knee in and out. Knee in and out and pulse. And then either do one arm, one leg completely for one round, or do 15 seconds on one, 15 seconds on the other, and then do that both rounds. So up to you on that. And then the last one is going to be leg extensions. So back nice and flat on the ground, so tucking the pelvis under to keep the lower spine on the ground, and then we're going to take one leg down and then the other leg down. To make it a little bit easier, you can have the knees bent and then you can bring the foot down like that. Okay, that'll be a bit easier. If you've got issues with the lower back, maybe you want to put your hands underneath the bottom and do it that way. Yes, there's an option to do both legs as well. Okay, and again, making it a little bit easier is to have the knees bent and doing it that way instead. Okay, try not to arch the back. The back needs to stay flat on the ground. That is the kind of golden rule. So there are your 5 exercises. Let's get started. So in our plank position, we can either be on the forearms or on our hands. Again, not too high with the butt, not too low with the hips, somewhere in between. You want a little bit more of a challenge, you can always lift one leg and do it that way instead, okay? Even more of a challenge is to lift one leg and one arm, but that is a little bit more advanced, a little bit harder for people to do. So whatever works for you. Side plank, again, just stay on one side, it'll be easier rather than doing 15 seconds on each. Try and do 30 seconds just on one side. Keep the hips a little bit high. If you want, you can lift the leg. That's also an option for you. Or grab a toe if you want. Up to you. Look up, look down, wherever is comfortable for you. And then up downs. So again, plank position, left, right, right, left, right, left. Whatever works for you. You can do the same arm, different arm, mix it up. Again, you can do this with one leg up if you want to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay, and then back extensions. So extend away, knee to nose and knee to elbow. Again, maybe 15 on one side, maybe you just do everything on one side and then change the next time. Okay, it's not long, 30 seconds, probably about 25 by the time you get into the work. And single leg extensions, maybe supporting the back, maybe not. So keep the lower back on the ground, that's the main thing. Stomach tense, lower back tight to the ground, full length of the legs if you can. And we're going to go back to our plank hold. So again, 30-second plank hold. If you are going to try one leg, one arm, zip in down the center line, lift, float, see what happens for a few seconds, come back, do the same thing on the other side, just do maybe the leg first, then the arm, see what happens, see if you can hold that. And coming back whenever you need to your rest position of the full plank. Up, downs, oh no, sorry, side plank, sorry. It's a side plank on the other side. Guess it doesn't matter if you do it in a different order. It's all getting done at the end of the day. Again, leg lift if you want. Looking up wherever works for you. This is a tricky one. Then we are going to go to the up downs now. Again, you can do it with one leg up in the air if you want. Make it a little bit more challenging. Maybe it's challenging enough. And then we go to the back again. Ooh, let's do this side, okay. And now I'm going to just do the opposite knee and elbow from what I did before. You may have done half and half. That's fine. Whatever is working for you. Just try and balance it up is the main thing. And then leg extensions. Single leg, double leg, whatever you feel like doing. Maybe you do single leg for a bit, and then you do double leg for a bit. It'll be a bit harder with the double leg, but you know, you just work out what you need to do. A couple of seconds and we're done. And we're done. Well done. Welcome to the stretch series in the 5-a-day movement flows. So this is just going to be a stretching routine that you can do for 5 minutes. First one is going to be downward facing dog. So classic one from yoga. Hands are going to be about shoulder width apart, index finger or middle finger pointing forwards. One way to get into it is from like a plank position or from a tabletop position. So your shoulders and your wrists are maybe a little bit further forward than your shoulders. Tuck the toes and then start to lift up. As you lift up, start to press the chest towards the thighs, okay? And then you bring in your head between your biceps, rotating those elbow creases and biceps forward. Feet are roughly hip width apart and maybe slightly pigeon-toed. So coming from the side, as an easier option, it will just be to have the knees nice and bent, okay? So you can have the knees nice and bent and keep it that way, okay? That is an option for you if you wish, okay? The other option is to maybe actually not even come into downward dog if you can't, and just hold a kind of a half downward dog, which is also known as puppy dog, where we're just doing the front part of the pose and not doing the back part. Or you can try and bring your heels all the way to the ground as well. So that's just your options with your downward dog. Next one is going to be a hip flexor stretch. So really it's long lunge, knee down to the ground. Okay, you don't have to have the knee on the ground, you can have it lifted if you want. And pushing forwards, so that knee tracks over that second toe, but not really beyond the ankle. If it's uncomfortable, you can roll up a mat or put a cushion in behind and then press forwards. Okay, hands can be wherever is comfortable, such as on your knee, up in the air, in a cactus position, on your back. But you hopefully will feel something along the hip flexor as you move forwards there. So that would be the option, and I suggest maybe doing one leg for the 30 seconds and then the opposite leg for the other 30 seconds. So that's the number 1 and 2. Number 3 is ragdoll. So ragdoll is really where we're folding over the legs. Now you might want to keep the nice bent legs and just hang here. And see, this is the move. If you've got straight legs, that's fine as well. You can straighten the legs, but just keep them bent for now is a good option for you. And just hang in here, that's for the 30 seconds. One after that will be a back bend. So feet maybe hip width apart. They can be together if you want. It might be a little bit strong for some people. Keeping the glutes and the thighs engaged, placing the hands on the lower back and squeezing the elbows together as if someone's got their hands behind you trying to squeeze. And then you're maybe even looking up, opening up the front of the throat and coming back, or you just come back to here, wherever is comfortable. But remember to engage the glutes and the thighs, hold on to the lower back as well. If you don't want to hold on to the lower back, you can do it without as well, but it's going to be a stronger pose. Next one will be, or the fifth one will be side bend. So again, feet can be together. I prefer them a little bit further apart, one hand on the hip and coming over like this. Okay, so that's one option. Just you can either do it dynamically, which means coming from side to side, or you can just hold one side for the 15 seconds, hold the other side for the 15 seconds, or indeed hold it for 30 seconds on one side, and then the next round do 30 seconds on the other side. Other options with this one is to wrap one foot behind and then come over in that way. Okay, so you may feel something a little bit different if you do that. Okay, so you can put one foot behind and then do it that way, or even take the arms like that. So really up to you with these exercises, how you do it. I'm just giving you options. There are so many different variations of the kind of exercises we're doing. So let's get started. So first one, downward dog. Again, not showing a regression on the other side because you can work that out quite easily for yourselves. So biceps rotating forwards, really tilting the tailbone, shooting it up to the sky behind you, working the ankles down, although maybe not. Maybe you want to pedal the feet, that's also a good option. Getting ready to come into our hip flexor stretch. Take that on the right hand side, maybe first, again, maybe folding up the mat. If you've got a mat, leaning forwards, okay? Not too worried about the tilt of the pelvis on this one, although you can do variations on that. We're just, at the moment, just doing a little bit of a stretch from maybe sitting all day or sleeping overnight, something like that. You can maybe bounce a little bit, but I always don't really recommend bouncing unless you're a bit more of an expert. Coming into ragdoll, taking our fold. Again, you can have bent legs, quite bent in fact, or you can have straight. You can have your feet together. It's going to be a little bit stronger. When you come up, bend the knees and roll up, okay? Vertebra by vertebra. Bend the knees, roll up. Coming into your back bend, hands on the hips, on the lower back, engaging the glutes and the thighs, and opening up the front of the body here. And then we'll come into our side bend. So I'm just going to take right hand over and keep it there. Of course you can do it dynamically, you can do 15 seconds one side, 15 seconds the other side. I haven't got the clock in front of me so I can't see that, so I'm just going to do it one side 30 seconds and then I'll do the opposite side. I always start with the right side on things because then you remember that's the first side. Back to downward dog in a second. So feet are just wider than the hips, chest is motioning towards those thighs, index finger or middle finger is pointing forward, fingers are nice and spread. Maybe you're having a pedal through the feet again, maybe you're keeping it a bit more static this time. Remembering to breathe. And then we're going to come into our hip flexor stretch on the opposite side of what you just did. For me is the left leg forwards. Okay. And you can creep it forwards if you find that you didn't get the right step before. You can put your hands on the lower back, hands up, open up with the chest. That's also quite nice. You can even lean over a little bit. Okay, that's also a good option. Okay, but mix it up. Do what feels nice. The more you know your body, the better it will be. Ready for ragdoll. Coming down into ragdoll, again maybe feet apart. Again you can have your feet quite far apart and your knees quite bent. That's up to you, right? Or you just have them together and straight is going to be the hardest option. So the further away,
Then from your hips, maybe about a foot away from each other, might be a good place to start with knees bent. Good, rolling up, bending the knees as you roll up, coming into that back bend. Again, feet can be nice and wide, and you can take the back bend that way. The closer your feet are together, the more challenging it might be for you. But open up the front of the throat if you feel comfortable doing so. Then we'll take the opposite side on the side bend, if that's what you did, or you do your 15 and 15 if you did that on the other side. So for me, I'm doing my left side now because I did all of the 30 seconds on the right side before, and I've got my feet hip width apart. But you can put one foot in front of the other, you can have them together, don't have to have your hand on your hip. It's a nice bit of support though. Almost done. And we're done. Well done, well done. The first one is a seated pigeon. So this is where we cross the ankle over the knee and bring the foot in. Now this can be quite challenging. You may find this is quite raised. What I'd like you to do is flex this folded foot and maybe lean onto that knee to push it down. As long as there's no pain in the knee. Never any pain in the knee when you do things like this. Then we're going to lean forward slightly, and you should feel possibly a stretch along the side there. I used to do this all the time at my desk, because you could do this without anyone seeing, because your desk is here, and then as you're typing you lean forward. So this will be the first one. Second one will be a seated twist. So try and get the spine and the butt right up against the chair here. One hand on the knee, and then you turn away from the opposite direction, so it will make sense. So if your left hand is on your right knee, you turn towards the right side. You can use the chair behind you to push and feel a twist. And actually, whenever someone asked me a question, I would do something like this. Instead of swiveling around in my chair, I would normally turn like that and try and face them. Try and relax the neck and allow the neck to just naturally start to guide that way, but pull the shoulder blade down, so not pushing it up, okay? So that's the second one. Third one is pushing, so interlacing the fingers if you can. If not, just grabbing hold of the hand. So you push the hands away, or interlace the fingers, push the hand away, and you round the spine, okay? So we want to round that spine like that. So we'll just, it's almost like you're trying to touch your screen there. And we're going to just hold that, okay? Fourth one will be the opposite in a way, so bringing the hands behind you and just opening up, okay? That's an option. You can actually, of course, do it a slightly different way. This chair isn't the most stable, so I won't do it, but leaning back into your chair, opening up your arms, opening up like this is also a great option, okay? But this is also great. So if your chair allows it and it's not going to break like mine probably will as it's creaking, you can do that. And then the last one will be so you grab the elbow and pull the hand, and you're trying to bring the hand down the chest. Now, some people I work with, it's never going, it's kind of up here. So that you can just do whatever works for you, okay? You can do 15 seconds and 15 seconds, or you can do 30 and then the other arm the other way around. With these twists, we'll hold them for 30 on each side, same with the legs. So maybe it makes sense to just hold each side for 30, okay? Starting with the right leg, again, flexing the foot, using the other arm to push down, keeping both hips grounded, and maybe leaning the chest forward and holding this. So I like to start with the right foot often, or the right side, or whatever. Sometimes it's a bit hard to think about what's the right and left. Is it the one that's standing or the one that's flexing? But whatever it is, be consistent, makes it easier. Okay, taking the twist, so I'm twisting to the right. Okay, so I did the right leg and then I'm twisting to the right. Again, I'm trying to keep my shoulder blades down, trying to relax my jaw and my forehead and all of the upper, anything above the neck. And then I'm twisting up and round, okay? This is actually a lovely little twist, spinal twist. And then hands forwards. You can look down, round the spine, round the upper back. Breathing softly, even. Maybe a bit longer on the exhale. Great to do these while at your desk. Okay, opening up the front here, pushing forwards, maybe leaning back in the chair if it works for your chair. Opening up to the sky. This is, you know, we sit at a desk all day in front of the computer, do this every hour, 5 minutes every hour, 55 minutes of work, and this, or some of the other 5 a day movement flows. Good, and then elbow. And then, so once you've got the elbow there, you can take that little lean across to the left, and you may feel that a bit further down the body. Good, and then we switch to the opposite side, so left leg, again, flexing that left foot, holding it maybe with the, if you've got trousers or something, you can hold it with the trousers. Again, for this, it's very natural and normal for each side to be slightly different, so don't get too concerned about that, how much you stretch with one versus the other. Good, and then we're going to twist to the left, so right hand on the left knee, maybe grabbing hold of the chair with your left hand, keeping the shoulder blades down the body, knees facing forward, and twisting at the waist. Okay, and then hands forward, maybe interlacing them the opposite way from what it feels comfortable, what feels natural. If you can't interlace the fingers because they just don't go, I've got clients like that, just grab hold of the hands any which way and just round the spine any which way that works. Hands behind again, or you open up in a different way, but you're opening up the front. So basically opposite to what we just did. We did the back, now we're doing the front. This is nice. You can do a whole series of chair yoga. I mean, if you're chair bound, you know, there are options for you. So, always good. And left elbow up, pull the elbow down as much as you can, index fingers pointing or middle fingers pointing down the spine, and then maybe you lean a little bit more over to the right and you feel that stretch in the left a little bit more. Shoulder roll and we are done. Welcome to the Qigong inspired series of the 5-a-day movement flows. This isn't Qigong per se, but it's inspired by Qigong, and we're all going to be doing the same level, so we're not going to be changing it up. So 5 exercises, 30 seconds each, times 2, as is usual with these 5-a-days. So this is a great one for just energy, moving you around a little bit. So the first one we're going to be doing is a spinal roll. So feet roughly hip width apart, tucking the chin, bending and softening the knees as you round through the spine, coming down reasonably slowly, and then coming up again. Just let everything hang loose, the shoulders, and then as you come back up, you draw the shoulder blades down. Now you may go faster or slower than what I'm doing now, up to you, and that's the general gist of that one. So that's the first one. The second one is swinging the arms. So here it's slightly different from the Qigong typically one, but we let the arms go soft and we lift the heel that is away from the movement. So it will feel natural and the movement will feel natural just to lift the heel. And you let the arms swing and really hit you. So make sure you don't have a watch or ring or jewellery or anything on, because you want everything to be nice and fluid. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Then we've got a bit of a stretch, so I like this one. What we do, it's a little bit tricky to explain. So as you you're going to push up with one hand, pushing the palm of the hand to the sky, and pushing the palm of the other hand below and behind you. So you're going to push up and you're going to twist at the same time, almost looking towards that hand that's behind you. And then you come back into the center and then twist again. And it's kind of like a fluid motion, but you hold the twist for, you know, 1 to 3 seconds or maybe longer. Okay, so that's the third one. Fourth one is a little bit more vigorous. Okay, you're going to need to have soft knees. The arms are going to swing behind you. Your chest is going to come down towards the thighs. So you swing down and up, down and up, down and up. Remember to bend the knees and soften that movement. Okay, the last one is a little bit more of a breathing one. So first one is we're going to bring all the energy from around us and from beneath us in and then out. So we circulate the energy. In, breathing into the belly first, then the chest, and then all the way out. Either through the nose or the mouth when you exhale, but breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth. So there are your 5 exercises that we're going to get started on. So starting with the spinal rolls, coming down as slow or as fast as you want. You can go faster or slower than what I'm doing now. Just try and be mindful and feel just each articulation of that spine, having soft knees, and just moving the flow that you want, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Moving into our helicopter arms, we can just go from side to side, remembering to lift the heel, stubbing the cigarette out as it were, feeling the energy flow, allowing the arms to truly hit the body. No jewellery on, hopefully. Before we get ready for our third one, corkscrew. So here we are, inhaling, exhaling. Exhale away, inhale together. Exhale and twist as you push the palms away from each other, twisting. Inhale, bring the energy to the center. Exhale, twist and push. Inhale. Exhale, twist and push. Inhale. Together. And then drunken skier, as I like to call it. So we swing the arms down and up, bend into the knees. I call it floppy skier, drunken skier, whatever you want to call it. It's like he's skiing, but he lets his arms flop. And then we'll go to the last one, a couple of seconds. into the grouping breath. So inhale into the belly, in through the nose, all the way up. Exhale through the mouth and through the nose. Inhale, group it all together. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Finish that breath, then coming down into your spinal rolls. We say 30 seconds, you don't have to be exact with all these things. Start changing at a time that feels appropriate to you. Really make these exercises your own. Do it maybe slightly differently from what I'm doing, or very differently, but just get the spirit of the idea. 30 seconds on each exercise, roughly. Good. Corkscrew. Oh no, sorry. Helicopter arms. There we go. My bad. Corkscrew is the third one. You do film so many of these videos, sometimes you get confused with the orders. Okay, so just let the arms flop, really hit the kidneys at the back. It's great. Oh yeah. And then we'll do the corkscrew, okay? 2 seconds. Good. Okay. Inhale together. Exhale. Or the other breath, whatever works for you. Start to feel the breath and the movement to what works for you. Drunken skier. Exhaling down probably works. Inhaling up. You can let out a sound like I'm doing. Or keep it silent. It's nice to let the sound out. And then group in breath, okay? Calming it down, pushing it out, circulating the breath. Out through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels good. In through the nose, into the belly, into the chest, and we're done. Well done. Well done for completing this video. Hopefully you did a few different sessions. You got to move your body a little bit more. You got to feel more energized. Do stay with these things. Discover your own exercises. Connect with me on social media. The Thought Gym is where you're going to find me on all social media platforms. And of course, head to thethoughtgym.com where we can connect further. Until next time, stay strong, stay super. Bye-bye.